What's up, everybody? It's your favorite character who made Prime Dive's favorite nerd. And today we are looking at Masterpiece Hot Rod. Car mode looks okay. The paint finish on it, once again, is done brilliantly. They're really excelling at that. They're killing that, actually. It looks beautiful. Mine is, like, I don't feel like mine is together quite right. Because my wheels, like, aren't, like, you see how this, like, kind of dips up, where I feel like it should push down? But for the life of me, I can't get it sorted. Now, that might be a personal issue, because that doesn't seem like something that would happen with the Takara product, but it's certainly the issue I'm running into. So, it's this piece here. I don't know, though. I can't get it sorted, so that's what I got to work with. And I don't know. I'm not convinced that that's an error of the toy as much as it is maybe an error of the transformation of it, but I certainly can't get it worked out. I don't care for translucent plastic for windshields. That's just straight translucent plastic, but if you do, the good news is it's good for you. I got some smudges on mine. The chrome looks great across the board, and the finish underneath looks good, and I've seen in pictures that you can have this head reversed, but that's how it is right here. Not bad. Accessories wise, he comes with these saw blades, which I like a fair bit. There's a finish on them, and then this is a translucent plastic with an airbrush silver around the ring that gets more translucent as it gets, you know what I mean, like the paint doesn't go towards the center, which ends up looking quite nice, and it gives it that, like, kind of spinning effect, which looks good. Two guns, one for each of you, with the finish on there as well, and they look fine. And then a fishing rod, because reasons, with the finished paint on the reel, and then the black paint on there as well. And then this is just a straight piece of plastic, fairly pliable. It doesn't feel like it'll snap on you necessarily right away. That was one of the things I was kind of concerned about when I saw it in pictures, was that if, like, you know, if you laid it on the box wrong, it would break. But it's a fairly pliable plastic, which is a smart choice. Back to this guy, I'll give you a size comparison with him real quick. With you know who, old Tiger Tracks. So all in all, fits together pretty well, I think. Par for the course. I had a buddy of mine that got a hold of this guy and sent him to me, and it's much appreciated. That person asked not to be shouted out. He doesn't want any sort of credit or anything, but I was more than willing to give it to him. But he requested that not be the case, so I will respect his wishes, of course. But I do greatly appreciate it. And of course, this matrix here as well, par for the course. Step one, bring these arms down. Both sides. That one was really stuck in there. Make sure that this piece here is flipped up the best you can, and then bring this whole piece around like that, so that it sits tabbed into those back two prongs like that. You can open up this chest piece here a little bit, and then use this piece to kind of wedge the head around to the front, and then you fold this engine block back down and around, and it tabs in. I'm not exactly sure. It's right into there. I'm not exactly sure how, but you can feel it go. And then make sure it's all nice and flush. Then there's a double hinge system inside of here that you can get the shoulders out on both sides. Then you can spin the arms around, and you can flip these pieces to the inside as you do so. Bring the shoulders around to the front on both sides. Use your flaps that are now facing outward, open them up, and then try to get this fist out, which I might have to get with my teeth. Yes, I did. Wrap that around, and then close that back up. So for the other side, just show you in one fell swoop. Open this up here. Hopefully this will, right. And then get that hand out, close this up. And then you get the arms situated properly. And then you can push these down. This is where this guy kind of earns his keep. Unplug this from the back. rotate these orange pieces in, fold these pieces in. They'll push these two grates up, and then it doesn't seem like you would have the clearance to fold this around, but you fold this around and it slides in there. Look, I can't tell you how well that slides in there.
I really need something to compare it to.
Huh? Nothing you need to worry about. Ever.
No, seriously, give me an example.
Slides in like, kids that get good grades and eat all their vegetables. And then all of this plugs against this. This goes into there, and then there's two pieces down here that go there, and then the arms tab into the transparent piece. So this does not go as smoothly, at least for me, but it will go. Easy for me to say. And then you take this, turn it around. As far as the legs go, split them apart, open up these panels here, rock them on out, tab them back in, close back up, and then bring the foot up and then bring the heel back. So same on the other side. Open this up, rock the leg down. It's on a series of hinges. Tab it back in, close this up, bring the foot up, and then bring the heel back. And that is this fella. Let's talk about how the accessories apply. He has this visor down here. Look, Decepticons, I wish that wasn't as translucent as it was. I wish it was a blue. But it's there, and you can flip open the head and then flip the glass. This is transparent and it's very tight. I'm getting a phone call. There you go. And then flip that down. Let me answer this phone. I'll get right back to you. All right, sorry about that. It was a person trying to sell me something too, so that just makes it a little bit more of an issue. Open this up, and then you can put the matrix in, and then close it up. So there's that feature. That works fine. I might as well just leave it in there. Doesn't hurt anything, does it? Gives them a little bit more weight too, actually, which is nice. As far as the other stuff, fishing rod holds that fine, no problems there. That's something for the box, if you know what I'm saying. Guns, typical Masterpiece style. A little bit of a tab. It's got a small groove in there in the back. You can kind of get it sorted. Close it up, holds that just fine. So no problems there. And if you want to use this feature, you just close the hand up, flip it back in, which is not a good fit, and then plug this onto there, and you have that feature. And that is how the accessories work here. Now let's talk about them. So the head hinge swivel. Due to the sculpt, you don't get that much down because the chin starts to beat up against the red parts of the collar. But overall, works pretty well. I tell you, I don't like that translucent piece inside there. But not too bad. Arms, you get a hinge out to here. And you can turn it, of course, and get out to there. But this does cause a little bit of an issue. But yeah. But you get a swivel and the hinge. You get a bicep swivel. You can see my piece isn't even really like that. Maybe I'll have to tighten this screw, but the joint feels pretty tight. I don't know. That's a QC issue. Silver finish on the wheels looks good. Not sure if I talked a lot about that. But yeah, double jointed elbow that works brilliantly, and the joint is hidden extremely well too. It's better to look at it on this side where it's not messed up, but That's really quite nice, both in terms of articulation and how the joint looks in robot mode. It's very clean. I like that a lot. I saw that with Ironhide too. It's really good looking and well toleranced. Wrist swivel down there. Fingers are on a pin at the base knuckle. They work fine. Orange and yellow paint look good there, and the finishes look good. I'm even okay with this plastic not matching that. I feel like it breaks it up a little bit, but it's definitely a different tone. But I think that it's purposeful, to be honest with you. And waist swivel, ab crunch, getting you down to there. Nothing back, but that's fine. It's still pretty cool. And then this whole area. Let's talk about this area, because this is where trouble really starts coming into paradise. So I don't like this, once again. And we'll talk about it more in final thoughts, but it's kind of the same issue with Ironhide. Looks fine. Paint looks brilliant. Awesome there. The whole transformation, the way it folds up like that, really well done and extremely smart. Typical Masterpiece stuff that you've come to expect and love from this line. But I feel like the shape of this is off, and we'll take a look at it later on and talk about why, but I don't like the shape, and I feel like a large part of that issue is including this matrix gimmick, which I don't think is necessary, and as a result, it kind of throws off the sculpt to me. But it's there. Waist swivel. Front skirt flips up to allow this movement up to here and back to there. Side skirts move up, which allow you hip movement out to there on a it's on a universal joint. It's just a bizarre looking universal joint. It's frictioned and it feels fine. I wish that this were cut to allow for just one flap to move up, so you didn't have to do that to the whole piece. Kind of the same thing with Maketoys Grapple and Inferno, same type of situation, but the different colors and reds do look brilliant there. No paint on the orange. It's just like a straight plastic, and I gotta say, this doesn't look the greatest, this orange. Not a huge deal, just pointing it out. It's going to bother some, it's going to bother me, but it may not bother you. Thigh swivel at the top, getting you 180 all the way around, no problems there. And then double jointed knees, that gets you the whole gambit. Great paint finish on the calves and shins. They look good. I got an imperfection there, but that's okay, and it's not a big deal. And then ankle tilt all the way forward, no problems there. And fair amount back, no problems there. You tuck in that heel, you can probably get a little bit more and cheat it for pictures and stuff. Ankle rocker, problematic. Not terrible, but not perfect. Mainly because the sculpt hits up against the hinge. It's not one of those things where you could make a hinge there and fix it. It's a bit of a design issue there as to why you can't get it. But all in all, articulation is pretty good, to be honest. There he is next to MP09. There he is next to DX9's Carry and Unique Toys Blur. And there he is with Sideswipe. Final thoughts wise, here's the problems. There's some QC issues here with like joint tolerances, which I'm not really used to with Masterpiece. Like just the way that some of the things kind of have to kind of move. Some of the joints are just a little too tight, which is just bizarre for me. It's just not what I'm used to with the company. I'm used to that kind of being nailed down. The other issues are, in my opinion, a lot of design issues for the most part. The way that this has to move in order to get the poses and stuff, like, to me that looks bad. You know, it's okay. It's an acceptable loss kind of thing. But that's a few separate hinges away from just being a better looking piece. Other design issues are like the backpack. While it all transforms really cleverly, these two pieces sticking up, at least for me, are a bit unsightly. And then the whole shoulder assembly is a little strange in the way that it hinders articulation. Articulation is slightly hindered by the shoulders and slightly hindered by the ankles. For the most part, it's fantastic. It's just those two places, which is what makes it a little bit more frustrating because it's so close to the mark. But the shoulders aren't hateful, but there is something about this total design here which does leave something to be desired. But my big issue overall is very similar to Ironhide's, where it's this situation here that kind of loses me. It's this design here, and it's the same with Ironhide. And I wonder why it's the same place in both. I'm guessing it's to store the matrix, but there's a general loss of an abdomen with this guy. And it's the same problem I had with Ironhide. There's just a problem here that this is just a flat cardboard box. It looks more like a cosplay. See, here is an image of his abdomen. And these pieces here, from there, come together and move in. And I feel like that would have been doable had they not tried to do the Matrix gimmick. If they could have collapsed this piece here, I think you would have had a bot that looked a lot more like it. It's the same thing as Ironhide. It's just an eyesore for me. But I wanted to make sure that I showed you guys a picture so that nobody said, but it is like that in the cartoon, because the answer is it is not. It is not like that. That is not how he looks, and it is something that throws me off. Some things throw me off less. Like, obviously, in the cartoon, he didn't have these two things sticking out of his back, but that throws me off a lot less than not having an abdomen at all, just kind of having this flat sheet in front of him. There's a lot of good going on here, too, though. The paint, once again, is top shelf. Every place where it's applied beautifully. The articulation, for the most part, works really well. The feel of the plastic and all that kind of stuff is on par. The materials are on par. The transformation has that masterpiece nuance of fun and intuitiveness and interesting stuff kind of going on, where you get to do things that you don't always get to do. I love stuff like that. It just comes back to the same problem. But the good news is this, folks, and I'm going to back out so you can get a wider look. It's a well-made toy, okay? It's a well-made toy. There's a few QC issues, but for the most part, it's a well-made toy. Everything works good enough. So the question is, do you like the way this looks? If you do, I say that he's worth it. If you don't, there's nothing in hand that's going to fix that. It's very similar to Ironhide. It's almost the exact same situation. If you like the way it looks, he's good to go. If you don't like the way he looks, there's nothing in hand that's going to do anything differently for you. There might actually be some things that might drive you a bit more nuts. That's the best way I can describe it. I haven't been overly satisfied with the Masterpiece line as of late. I think Shockwave is going to be the one to bring me back on track with them, but only time will tell. For me, once again, the most important thing in a figure at the end of the day is aesthetics and stability. Because what I need it to do is look good on the shelf. So it has to A, look good, and B, be able to stand well. Which is my problem with this guy, for instance. Looks good, looks the part, but he has problems standing. And it's the opposite arena here. Everything is really well made. I'm just not crazy about the way it looks. So I hope that helps, and I will see you shortly. Sorry about the hardhead thing. This thing came in, and I had to make sure I get this up before hardhead. So we'll do hardhead next week, and probably Generation Toys Scavenger, I think. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.